Sexual harassment happens very, very often.
You know, there's a difference between inappropriate behavior and then there's harassment and then, then there's actual assault.
I don't think people are aware enough of what constitutes sexual harassment.
Even in the legal system, harassment is not determined necessarily by the law, but by the person who's being harassed.
There's a lot of confusion around what was that harassment? Was that assault?
Sexual harassment and sexual assault both are incredibly underreported.
It happens a lot more than we know. A lot of victims are very afraid to come forward. They are very afraid to, talk about all the different behaviors that might have led up to the assault.
It leads to them not reporting, not being believed.
Report it.
Find an adult in the building, whether it be a teacher they feel comfortable with, their counselor, the interventionist, an administrator. They need to talk to somebody.
I think a lot of students go to their friends and say, this happened, and please don't tell anybody.
If someone is trusting you with that information, the two biggest things that I would like to say are don't judge them and help them access appropriate support, because that's too big for a friend to hold.
It would be really helpful to be able to give them the support that they need to heal from what happened to them.
There's a lot of resources that are critical and available.
There's usually an interventionist or prevention coordinator, counselors in the school, teachers.
It's very, very important to be able to address whatever behavior went on so that we can keep students safe.
If somebody came to me and disclosed that an incident of sexual assault or sexual harassment occurred, that's something that I would have to report.
If it were an on-campus incident, of course we would involve the Boulder Police Department.
We have a zero-tolerance policy when it comes to harassment.
It's our duty to make sure that you guys are safe.
Historically, people who have been victims of sexual assault are often in some way, shape, or form blamed for the assault.
Students are very afraid of somebody blaming them or somebody saying, wait a minute, you shouldn't have been at that party, or you shouldn't have been there, or you shouldn't have done that.
That leads to more self-blame.
People think, well, what did I do to cause this? Gosh, I shouldn't have gotten drunk. I shouldn't have put myself in that position.
And it is never the victim's fault.
Nobody deserves to be harassed.
Your body is your body.
No one should be subject to sexually inappropriate behavior.
Nobody should be subjected to that.
It doesn't matter where you are or how you're dressed or whether or not you're under the influence of a substance. It doesn't matter if you've started being physical with someone and then you put on the brakes. If you say no or you don't have the capacity to say no, it's nobody's right to do anything to you. Sexual assault and sexual harassment also happens in established relationships. It's not just male to female, it's also female to male, male to male, female to female.
That can happen to anyone.
It's very disempowering.
There's a lot of shame, there's a lot of fear.
It can make you just in general feel unsafe. You need to do whatever you can to protect yourself.
There's a lot of situations out there that can be very unsafe.
There's like this whole expectation and idea in our society around it, but the really important thing is we need to be asking, like, why do people rape someone?